Patrick McNeil back here at the intermission at McDonald Auto Hub, Cape Breton Eagles hockey, and joined now by Charlottetown Islanders overage forward Thomas Casey. Thomas, are going to get right into the hard-hitting questions here. Have you been able to sneak out to experience burger love in Charlottetown yet this season?
Yeah, I actually just had one for dinner recently. I've had 5 burgers in total. I think as a group, you kind of got to take advantage of it that it's in September this year, since most years it's in April and it's in the middle of playoff hockey or whatever. So you're trying to eat healthy and all that. But I just kind of get one here and there as a little cheat meal, and they're definitely a treat. I think PEI's got great food, and I'm definitely thankful for that.
Protein, not a concern on this Charlottetown Islanders lineup to start the season. It's been an odd training camp for Charlottetown, and a lot of people may not know, but we talked about it in the pregame show with Jim Holton. Your team has been displaced from their home arena. How has that been from a player's perspective, maybe bouncing around a little bit more?
It's been different, but we've got a really good staff with Spide, Kev, Lucas, and the coaching staff. They've really been helping us out, and even though we've been moving back and forth and kind of all over the place and we're starting on the road, it's a little bit of adversity. But like Jim said, we've got 6 road games. That means if we do well, it's going to help in the long run because we'll have a home stretch. We're just going to try and battle through this and get as many wins as possible, and then we'll see what happens.
You're a PEI guy playing at home, but you have gone away to pursue hockey because you went to Notre Dame in Saskatchewan, played there for 3 years. Tell us about the decision to go out west.
It was a decision I kind of thought over with my family, and for grade 9, I actually went. I was just a young buck. It was something we didn't take lightly at thinking about, and when I went, I wasn't sure if it was going to be the best, but looking back, it was the best decision I've ever made. It's in this small town, like 40 minutes south of Regina, so it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but everyone on campus is like one big family, and you don't have many outside distractions, and it was good for my maturity, and I think it really helped me grow up at a young age.
Key part of your draft year, as a lot of players that would have been drafted in 2015 would have been the Canada Games. Tell us about getting to represent PEI, the smallest province, but with some talent at that 2015 event.
We had a really good group of guys. PEI, it's a smaller talent pool than most provinces and kind of known as the underdog going in. And I think we kind of embraced that and just bonded as a group. And we had some good players in our team. Noah Dobson, who obviously has put a pretty big name out there for himself. And then Jeremy McKenna, who played in Moncton. You'd be familiar with him. Those 2 guys were really good players to play with and kind of look up to. It's a lot of fun. And I think anyone that gets to experience Canada Games, looking back, it's a pretty amazing thing and the way it's organized.
Your Q draft ends up being in Charlottetown, but you're not there. But there's a good story about how your jersey was received.
I was actually just finishing brunch at school because there's a time change with Saskatchewan and PEI. So I was getting back to my room and I got the call from Jim telling me that I had gotten drafted by the Islanders. And then my parents were actually at the draft, so they went down to the table. It was pretty funny, and they got my jersey and hat for me. So I still have that to this day. It's pretty cool to look at.
When people watch you, the one thing that really stands out is your speed, one of the quickest players in the league. What's been the key to developing that aspect of your game?
I don't think there's been one thing, kind of the same as every other player. Always growing up, I just kind of worked on my skating. And one thing, though, from a young age, my dad had always said, you're not going to get the size. If you look at him, he's probably the same height as me. And same with my mom. She's not the tallest. And so he said, you're not going to be the tallest. You got to move your feet. So he kind of stressed that on me at a young age. And thankfully, I listened to him and it worked out. Pretty funny looking back how much he stressed that. And now it's kind of a key attribute to my game.
Didn't work out the way your team wanted, but a great playoff series between the Eagles and the Islanders in 2019. Tell us about that from your perspective, especially that double OT game.
Yeah, that was a really fun series. Obviously, we didn't come out in the end that we had liked, but Cape Breton was a really strong team that year, and we thought we were getting to a Game 7 there, and then there's some late game heroics, and then they scored on the PP in overtime. It was a good series and a lot of fun. Playoffs are, and hopefully we get to experience playoffs this year. And
you did get to go to Detroit Red Wings camp in 2019. Talk about that experience.
That was really cool. Detroit's obviously an original 6 team, and the way they treat their players, their staff, everyone involved, it was pretty amazing. I think they're definitely up there for one of the top organizations in the league. Their track record with making the playoffs so many consecutive years and Stanley Cups, I learned a lot being there. They kind of just breathe winning, and they kind of try and put those tools onto us. I learned probably the most I've ever learned in regards to hockey and nutrition and everything, and it was pretty amazing seeing some of the alumni around the rink that work for them now and the way that the organizations run. So it was a cool experience and something I'll never forget.
You're in your 20-year-old season, so obviously it's the end of the road for you in the Q. Have you given much thought to what comes next, or are you just trying to focus on the day-to-day of your Q season?
I'm just kind of trying to focus on day to day. This year it's different. We have week between games. It's great for every team to kind of get stronger in the weight room and get better in practice. Just kind of doing that week by week, day by day, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can have a good year as a team and go from there.
Fans in Charlottetown will be cheering you on as they have been for the last number of years. Thanks for this, Thomas. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I'll see you around.
That's Thomas Casey, 20-year-old forward for the Charlottetown Islanders, joining us at the intermission. You're listening to McDonald Auto Hub, Cape Breton Eagles Hockey on 1270 CJCB.